You're listening to Real Crime, the Movie Sleuth podcast.
What's up, everybody out there in internet land?
Hello, internet.
Hi.
Hi, internets.
Hello.
Hi, interwebs.
We're back.
We're back. Liam's back again.
I'm back.
Hi, Liam.
Hi there.
How's your week going?
It's going great.
Are you celebrating your independence?
I am. I am celebrating it so hard. I'm just red, white, and blue about it.
Yeah, I can tell.
Mm-hmm.
Your face is red, white, and blue.
It's every day. Well, that's the autoerotic asphyxiation.
Oh my God. And so it's off. You're off to the races. Yeah, so this is episode 118 of Real Crime. Tonight we're going to be talking about the Child's Play series, the Chucky series. Recently had a reboot and is getting a TV series coming up here pretty quick. So, first things first. Sponsors. Want to mention Sellerman's, of course. Have you guys gone yet?
I have not. No.
Damn it.
I'd love to go.
I'll
take you. I'll take you.
Yeah, someone's got to take me.
I have to be dragged to places. And sometimes dragged out of places.
So, most of the time dragged
Most of the time dragged, yeah.
And then, of course, Matador Martial Arts. We just brought them on as a sponsor a couple weeks ago. My good friend Rudy that teaches martial arts. So check them out in St. Clair Shores, Michigan. And then, of course, the wonderful, wonderful Flint Institute of Arts, which you guys have never been there either.
No.
I will be happy to support it when I go.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
They always have a lot of cool stuff going on. So definitely want to check them out. And then, of course, projectorscreen.com. So with that said, we're rolling on to news. Do you guys have any good news this week?
So I saw a story today. It was in the Hollywood Reporter. It was about The Flash, the movie that's never going to happen, but they're trying to make it happen. So this is the fourth director they've got for it, and it's Andy Muschietti. Who did,
this was one of them that I had written down too.
And so this is the fourth time, and I think they're just doing another draft of the script.
I believe so. The problem here is that nobody from that version of Justice League is like sticking around now.
Yeah.
Ezra Miller has basically said he's out.
Mm-hmm. So
the only people that are remaining are Wonder Woman and Aquaman. That's it.
I can't wait to see the Justice League sequel
where
know. It's just everyone completely recast except Wonder Woman and Aquaman.
I don't think there's going to be a sequel.
Yeah. Maybe
Cyborg will be, detailing someone's car on the Warner Brother lot. Who knows?
Oh, that's bad. I'm doing some shares here. Sorry.
That's okay. Go share away.
Share.
Keep sharing. That's the most frantic typing of sharing on Facebook. Yeah. That's like high level. You're like breaking into the mainframe.
I've gotten pretty good at it. It
was so fast.
So the Avengers Endgame re-release that everybody was, it's going to beat Avatar. They thought that was going to happen in one weekend. It did not.
Yeah.
It still fell short of their goal of beating Avatar. And then today the internet was ablaze with news and stories about, it didn't blah, blah. Like, what did you think was going to happen?
It was one scene. There's one new scene. It's a deleted scene. It's unfinished. And the Hulk looks terrible. It's hilarious. It's a picture of him on the phone, and he's talking to someone. And every time I see it, I cannot stop laughing. It is beautiful. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
It's so good.
It's so good.
I can't believe they were like, all right, we got to make more money. Like, just throw it out there.
Yeah, just put it out there, unfinished product.
Unfinished, one deleted scene.
Yeah. So, there's really not a lot of news. You already mentioned the Andy Muschietti thing for Flash, and then I picked up a little bit of news today about the sci-fi version of Lord of the Flies that's coming out. Colin Farrell is playing the captain of the spaceship, and basically it's 30 kids that are being sent into space to go on an adventure, and then all hell breaks loose, and they break up into tribes, just like in Lord of the Flies. It's called Voyagers, but anyways, Lionsgate picked up the project today.
Huh.
So, kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I like good sci-fi, thoughtful sci-fi, so hopefully we get something with that. But yeah, that's really it for news this week.
Yeah, there's really nothing big. I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything.
there's like a
either.
Gremlins show, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think just the 4th, everything's kind of dead.
Yeah, there's no news stories this
Yeah,
week.
July's always kind of a dead month, I feel like.
Yeah. Pull your mic a little closer.
A little closer.
Yeah.
There we go.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
This is gonna be all ASMR.
So in new releases this week, Midsummer is out.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's phenomenal. As horror fans, as you both are also, you both loved Hereditary, right?
Yes,
I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, you've got to see Hereditary.
Same person.
Same
right?
director.
Yeah.
Yes, this is his new movie. It's a horror movie. It basically all takes place in the daylight. Everything's super bright.
Yeah,
Everything.
I watched the trailer. It looks so weird, like all in like the bright daylight. It's almost like it's creepy in
It's
and of itself.
really creepy.
Yeah.
It's really, really creepy.
I'm looking forward to it. I was gonna try and do a double feature of that and Spider-Man today, and then I was just like, eh. It was raining out.
There's some big ass water cups, Liam.
I know they're gigantic. This is like this.
It was like $1.50 at Kroger for like 6 of these.
Look at
I'm like,
this.
I
This
gotta
is-
get these.
This is the size of my head. Look
Yeah.
at this.
You
If you're
need
watching on
that.
the stream, it is bigger than my head.
And nothing is bigger than
Nothing's
that.
bigger than my head. My
Other
ego
than-
wouldn't let it happen.
Oh man. And then Spider-Man Far From Home is out this week too. Saw that one too. Great movie.
Awesome.
Probably it's definitely the better of the two with Tom Holland. Probably the best Spider-Man movie, I think.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's actually a little bit better than the Sam Raimi movies.
Yeah.
So-
I always loved the Raimi movies.
I did too, other than 3. Which
Yeah.
everybody
Any-
kind of bashes on.
Yeah.
I won't do that. I won't bash on it.
Yeah.
So-
it's
It is what it is.
it is what it is. When I saw it, I really liked it.
It's a product of the time.
Yeah.
You know? Okay, so that's it really for new releases this week. So suggested viewings, I'm actually just going to suggest Midsummer because it just tripped me the hell out. And when you have people in the movie theater afterwards going like, what did I just watch? I'm like,
That's cool.
yes, I loved it. So definitely more violent than Hereditary was.
Oh fuck.
The story is more messed up than Hereditary was. There's just a lot of crazy stuff going on. So, yeah. See it. So, Mara, what you got for me?
Wow. Well, I've had kind of crazy couple weeks, and I'm kind of racking my brain trying to think of something that I could suggest that I saw. And the only thing I can think of is something I didn't see,
Which is?
which is Veronica. And if you don't know what that is the movie written and directed by Glenn Danzig.
I've heard things about this.
Oh, I'm
about
sure you
the
have.
screening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's I want to see it so bad because I'm a huge Danzig fan and I love everything he does. But like aside from that, the responses are like you hate it or you love it, and it's so divisive that I'm shocked and I just need to see it.
Yeah. I think those are always the most interesting movies. Are the
Yeah.
ones that are super divisive.
And like the debate, I guess, is his intentions on the film, because I guess it's kind of campy. So is it a failure or was he going for that? It's not really clear. So I think that's why people are hating it.
I'm ready to see it because
Yeah.
I've read the stuff about it and I'm intrigued.
Yeah. Do you know what it's about?
It's like, isn't it an anthology movie?
Yeah. There's 3 stories, and the one is about a girl who's got eyes on her boobs.
I'm sold.
Yeah. Sold.
Yeah.
That's all you had to say.
Yeah.
Because I like crazy ass body horror stuff. So, yeah.
She's got eyes on her boobs. They cry, and it cries onto a spider that like becomes this like huge scary monster that becomes a serial killer.
I am
That's
completely
intrigued.
that's one of
Yeah.
the stories.
Yeah.
I am completely in for this now.
I'm in.
There's
I'm
2
all
more. There's 2 other ones. So I mean, there's a lot of boobs in it apparently, from what I gather. So that's another reason I want to see it. I just want to see it so bad, and I want everyone else to see it too, because I want to know like everyone's reactions and opinions.
Do you know when it comes out? Have they said anything?
It's supposed to be video on demand around Halloween, I guess. So we're gonna have to wait, and then I guess there's rumors about some Fathom events. So I'm really hoping we get one here in Detroit.
I hope that happens.
I really hope we get one. I don't know who. I'm like, who do I talk to? Are there any theaters or people in the area that I can like, you know?
And I messaged them about you going to that thing.
Oh yeah,
and I never not word one back from them.
Oh, I wonder why. Does it Cinepocalypse?
Cinepocalypse.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
Yeah, Cleopatra is putting the movie out. Cleopatra Entertainment.
Oh, and they did some of the Child's Play stuff.
Oh,
I'm
did
pretty
they?
sure.
Really?
I think I saw the Cleopatra logo on one of those, or maybe it was something else I just watched.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all starting to blur.
I know. I wasn't familiar with that company until Danzig was doing this.
Very like indie stuff.
Yeah.
The one comparison I heard was that it's like Glenn Danzig's version of The Room.
Oh man.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah.
I see that right there is also a sales point. I love when like movies, auteur pieces like fall apart. There's always something to even dissect.
Right. Well, I mean, Glenn Danzig's got a very, very interesting vision and an aesthetic, and he knows what he wants and what's important to him. And as a fan of his, for a really long time, I understand how he works in that way, and he's happy with it.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's hard for me to say like, well, it's bad and he made a mistake, because he doesn't think so.
I always feel like whenever people do that, it's bad and it's a failure. Well, I mean, it really, like, the parameter for success is weird, but for a filmmaker, it's, I got it made. Is it like, do I like it?
Yeah. And I mean,
exactly.
And he's an artist. So, I mean, realistically, he's not like a filmmaker by trade. So I would look at this is probably more art for him than straight filmmaking.
Yeah.
So, as long as he had fun making it, critical response can be awful, but I'm sure he doesn't give 2 shits.
Yeah, he's Glenn Danzig. He doesn't have to give a shit.
Yeah, he doesn't not have to care.
Yeah.
So, Liam.
All right, so there are no like boobs with eyeballs. In
boring.
I know. I feel like it feels like an epic come down. God, phrasing. This week I was watching Netflix and I watched One Day at a Time, which just recently got renewed. It's a remake of the Norman Lear show from the 70s.
Yeah.
And it has Rita Moreno, and it's a contemporary version of that story, but it's about Cuban Americans, and it's funny, it's heartfelt, and it's just really, really great television. And now I have a beef with Netflix.
Because they canceled it.
Well, because they canceled it, and the way they handled it, I didn't know this part of it. They put out this thread praising it for how diverse it was, and it brought a lot of representation and meaningful stuff. And but you canceled it.
Yeah,
like it meant so much to people, and it brought all these marginalized voices. I was like, but you canceled it.
Yeah, but who picked it back up?
Pop TV did, and it's coming back in 2020. I think this is like the first time a streaming show has gone to a network show after being canceled.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, usually it's the other way around.
Yeah. But it's a really good show. It's political but not like preachy, and it's heartfelt, and it's just a good way and you could watch it with your friends and your family and not feel terrible.
Yeah.
It's great.
Well, and that's kind of what we've been missing from TV for a while. Everything has to be dark now, and there has to be something that makes you cry your eyes out every episode, or makes you want to climb into a hole and hide. So I think it's pretty good, like a normal family sitcom.
And there's moments that are sad, but there's genuine humanity in it. I think a lot of comedy has just gotten to being like punching down or being like what's uncomfortable.
And potty humor.
Yeah. Which I like all those things, but like we need variety.
Right.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
I got to check it out.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Oh, I know what else is going to be out this week. Stranger Things, season 3.
Oh my God.
But we're going to be here drinking when it premieres, so sorry, folks.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll watch some of it
Yeah.
when we're blown out of our minds.
Honestly, that's how I saw like the first episode
Yeah.
of season 2.
Yeah, me too. So, drugs aside, tonight we're talking about the Child's Play series or the Chucky series. It kind of changed names through like halfway through.
Yeah.
With the remake just out, we're going to kind of cover the entire thing. So really, starting right in with the first one, what do we think makes the original such a classic now?
I think what makes it work is that so I was reading an oral history about it because I like to, read about the histories of these movies. And there was a disastrous test screening of the first Child's Play where it was like an hour longer, like 2 hours or over.
Yeah.
And it was terrible in that like they had, what's her name from Jessica Walters from Arrested Development was the original voice of Chucky. And the thing
that's interesting.
I would love to hear that audio
me
track.
too.
And what stuck with me was they were talking about when they were editing it, like when they were shaping it in the edit, that it was very similar to the philosophy they had on Jaws, where you showed as little as Chucky as you could. Because the sight of a doll, for long periods of time, is kind of silly. Mm-hmm. So it is like a really well edited movie where it's just like you see little glimpses of him pass by.
Yeah.
And a lot of its power is just in how it's like it lets you imagine things while also like being semi-realistic.
I see what you mean by that. There is kind of like a long time into the movie before the reveal where he attacks the mom and calls her a bitch, and and you almost, if you know nothing about it and you've never seen it before, it's almost like you're questioning, is Andy crazy?
And I think that works for the movie. There is that like play between, is this kid like fucked up or is the doll doing it? And it's a smart way to do that.
I agree.
Like they tried to play the psychological humor end of it. And they did do that a little bit later in the series.
Yeah, it went back to that. But the problem is like once you like reveal that Chucky is a killer, then you're like, well, I guess
you can't change it now.
You can't like put it back and be like, well, maybe it's not him.
Yeah.
It's like that's part of the charm of that, of like how that works just as a movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you get to kind of like, I guess, take the side of Andy there because they think he's, the doctor's like, okay, Andy, you're obviously sick, and he's like, no, I'm not. He's gonna kill us, and you kind of like feel that, like you want someone to take, as a kid, you want someone to take you seriously. So I think that works about it too.
I think the craziest thing about it is that he's really little. Chucky is really little. And so, people typically are not that scared of a little doll. So if you can take something, that cute little doll, who obviously becomes uglier and uglier as it goes on, and gorier and gorier and freakier, it is kind of crazy that like, oh, we took this little doll and he's killing everything.
Yeah.
Something you associate with obviously a toy, something that's supposed to be cute and fun and really little, and he just kills everything in sight. It's kind of a crazy twist. And I know we've had lots of movies about evil toys and evil dolls over the years, but this one kind of changed the spectrum of that whole thing a little bit.
Well, I think with the special effects that it like getting to the point in puppetry where you could kind of hide a lot of like the nooks and crannies, and you could show Chucky and use like perspective to make that more effective. Like now it would just be like CG. It would just be someone like in a mocap suit, or like maybe just
right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some scenes throughout the series where like Chucky's like walking down steps and doing stuff like that, and it's like, whoa, like the artistry behind creating that motion with a puppet is pretty astounding, actually.
Yeah.
I know when I had rewatched the first one, I was kind of expecting it to look, I guess, worse than it did, but it looks...
It holds up.
Yeah, it really does. I was kind of surprised by that.
Yeah, I love the effects, and it works. It's believable, because that's the biggest gap is like if this toy isn't scary, or like if it's too scary looking, then you're like, oh, obviously it's Killer Doll. Mm-hmm. So it rides the line where you see Chucky and you're like, oh, he's adorable. Like
He's
a kid
so
would
cute.
a kid would actually want this toy. Like if you saw Annabelle, you'd be like, no, get that the fuck out of my house.
Yeah.
Her little weird makeup and the dress. No, get that the fuck out of here.
I know. I mean, that's what's cool about it too, is that there are a lot of dolls that kind of just like are right on that like line of like, is it cute or is it really creepy and ugly? And like, it's just right there. And
It's kind of like the clown thing.
Yeah.
Like, is a clown cute or is that clown freaky as fuck?
Yeah.
Which one is it?
It's like sometimes it's both.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's both. It really is.
Yeah.
But Chucky does. He kind of fits into that category. Like, he's really kind of cute, but he's gonna probably kill you.
Like if you saw him at a store and he didn't have the voodoo curse or whatever, you'd be like, oh, he's adorable.
Mm-hmm.
He's my best friend.
That is one thing I really like about all of these movies, because like Freddy, as Freddy goes on through the movies, they abandon ideas, they change ideas, they kind of morph the mythology.
Yeah.
Same thing with Jason. Halloween has seen it's like multiple incarnations now. Like, oh, we're just like rebooting the whole thing.
They're on their third part too.
Yeah, with the Child's Play movies, like they maintain, and I was really noticing that when I watched all of them, like that voodoo thing.
Yeah.
It's there for all of them. They never let it go. Even in like Seed of Chucky, they're doing the voodoo and that. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
They carry that one story point through all of them, other than the new one.
And I think that's because I didn't realize this until I rewatched them all the past couple weeks, but it's the same writer for all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he directed the last 3 of them, I think.
It was Don Mancini, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, that's pretty rare, I think, with a franchise. So to see something like that stands out that they kept with it.
Yeah, I think he kind of after Child's Play 3, he kind of said, I'm taking the reins on this, and kind of controlled it. Mm-hmm. Even though I wasn't a big fan of Seed of Chucky, more as I got towards the end, I kind of like, I got it a little bit more, but we're not there yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Child's Play, I really appreciated it when I watched it.
Yeah.
It's creepy. Like when Brad Dourif's voice, when it comes out and he does the turn, scared the shit out of me. And I was like, oh, I jumped back. It's like, that doll shouldn't talk. I know he's going to talk. And it still is creepy.
It's still creepy.
Because you don't know, like I was saying earlier, he does he says the words, and he's doing, he knows the voodoo, but you don't know if it worked until that moment. So yeah, it's cool. His voice is like great too. And and the other thing that works about that movie is Andy is a really cute little kid.
Oh, Andy is really cute.
You need a cute kid.
And he's in the very beginning, he's getting his cereal, and the show comes on, and he's like, oh, I've seen this one. Like, it really just kind of, you feel for him. You remember being a little kid. And I mean, I think I'm like the same age, so I think I was that age when the movie originally came out.
What year was the original?
88.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, like for me, I was 14 then. I'm aging myself here. Shit. Dating myself. Damn it. But no, like I had already been through that, so you could really associate with this young child, who's getting this doll.
It's the weird thing. I was watching this and I had Toy Story fresh in my mind. Both of those kids are named Andy.
Yeah,
which is really,
I love that.
And both of those movies are about like when you're a kid, you're friends with your toys, and so it uses that kind of like childhood nostalgia and memory, and you're like, oh, of course, you like Andy. He's he's a kid. He just wants to have a buddy. Mm-hmm. And man.
Yeah, no, I mean, but the story gets all of that.
Mm-hmm. There's like it's written by like I can easily see a really terrible version of Child's Play where Andy's just a dick. Mm-hmm. Where like he doesn't care about the toy or something like that, or he's just like,
because he's not a brat at all.
No.
Like he's like a really like focused little boy.
Mm-hmm.
And that kid is a great actor too.
Yeah.
In that movie, he was really, really good. And I was happy that they brought him back.
That was so
That
cool.
was
For
awesome.
two,
To
and they
see
brought him back later on.
That
Yeah.
was awesome.
Yeah. So this kind of like this movie 88. So I mean, it kind of came not really at the tail end, but it came like far into the Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th movies.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like this was kind of pushed out a little bit further, and you can really feel how they're trying to. We need to establish a franchise,
Yeah.
like quickly, you know. And then Child's Play 2 was out a year later, I
Yeah.
think.
1990.
Okay,
So pretty quick.
pretty quick. They had to churn that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thing I noticed with Child's Play 2 is the visuals in 1 are really good.
Mm-hmm.
In Child's Play 2, the visuals are astounding.
Yeah, I agree. It was better.
There's some stuff with like lightning and stuff going on in a couple spots, and the gore effects and all of that. In 2, it's like they just ramped it up and they put it all out there.
Yeah, you could tell they got some extra money on that budget
Yeah.
for that one.
They were like, here you go. Go do what you want to do.
And I love a sequel that starts like right at the end of the next movie.
Yes.
Like that one did. And it just, you're like, what happens to this woman and her kid after this? Well, the kid gets taken away, obviously. And
Did they say what happened to the mom though?
they just said that she was like in a hospital.
locked up or something.
Yeah.
So they kind of pulled a Poltergeist 3.
Is that what they did? I didn't.
Yeah, I have
see that
not
one.
seen
Yeah.
Poltergeist 3.
Poltergeist 3, Carol Ann goes to live with Tom Skerritt in some high rise. Like, so basically, like, the parents aren't around anymore, and she's like taken away to like live with the aunt and uncle.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of that like, oh, we're taking you out of that situation, putting you in a new one.
Yeah.
Where weird shit's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love it if like they just took her out of it and it was just totally normal.
Yeah. They gonna like put her some Poltergeist 4.
It's Poltergeist 4.
Boring.
It's a house.
It's just a house. There's a sign up. Sorry, no Indian burial
Yeah,
ground
there's no
here.
Indian burial ground. We respect the
We
right of the Indians in America.
We will not dig them up.
We're not building your terrible condo here.
Yes. Or your pool.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Ugh, that scene. But yeah, Child's Play 2 is actually really good. This is, I think, one of the sequels from the 80s that actually just, it gets it right. It doesn't, it's not bad. It's just not a bad sequel.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, I
agree.
love the third act. That was the most fun I've had watching.
Yeah.
I love that.
Ooh,
Doll
and when-
Factory. I think it was the
I
Doll
love that
Factory.
too. And the
Yes.
Doll Factory, yeah.
Yes, that was
That's-
amazing.
It really is. The whole set. They open up the movie with the factory, so it's kind of waiting for it, and then they get there and getting his eyes punched in. I love that
So
part.
good.
You know what's weird, though? And I don't think we've ever discussed this on the show. Why is it that we take joy in the violence of these movies? It is kind of funny how, like, the kills in these movies are brutal, but they're pretty funny, too. Like, why do we do that? Like, why are we, like, okay with that? Are we just desensitized? Or
I'm a sick fuck, that's why.
I don't think it's desensitification. I think it's like, it's a movie.
yeah.
Like
Okay.
if you saw like someone actually getting murdered, you'd be like, "What the fuck? That's
Yeah.
horrible." But like it's a movie. It's like it's a killer doll murdering someone. That's kind of
Okay.
hilarious.
Well, there's a lot into it that goes into it. There's the Freudian joke. I don't know if anyone's familiar with this, but it's kind of like you laugh at the thing that you're not supposed to. So I think that's part of why we laugh at it. Another thing is like when you see something like you were saying, it's like it's horrible, but you're safe. The people who filmed it are safe, so it's a very sublime feeling. So you just laugh.
Yeah, there's nothing really more satisfying than a good movie death.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of true. Like if like you want when the one I go to, I think of like the sleeping bag kill and like one of the Friday the 13th.
Oh yeah,
where it's so
great.
it's so dumb. Jason just walks up, he just picks her and swings her
against
against
the
a tree.
That's a good one.
That's like physical comedy the way it's staged.
Yeah.
And you hear the bones crack. When
Yeah.
Jason has got some great kill. He's my favorite.
Yeah. See, the reason I like Jason so much is because there is nothing to him.
Mm-hmm.
I like
Yeah.
that they never made Jason like one-liners and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I like the fact he doesn't talk. He grunts every once in a
Yeah.
while in his little voice. Yeah, yeah.
He's just pure killing machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just
he's got mommy issues.
yeah. He's a force of
Of
nature,
course. Yeah.
basically. But Chucky very quickly got into Freddy territory.
Mm-hmm.
It started
did.
like pretty quickly with the one-liners.
Yeah.
And he's pretty profane in
Yeah,
the
he
stuff
is.
he says.
I love
too.
Yeah.
the stuff he said.
I know. He's nasty. I love it. And like just Brad Dourif's got the perfect voice to
It's-
just say nasty
It's
stuff.
just that
yeah.
rasp in his voice just makes it
Yeah.
even like, oh, that's so great.
And his laugh too. I wish I could do it. I would
Yeah.
do an impression.
I'm not good at impressions.
I'm no, I can only do Sling Blade.
What if Chucky
Sling Blade Chucky.
was...
I'm checking. You want to play?
So yeah, Child's Play 2 is pretty good. I think
Yeah.
I actually like Child's Play 2 better than 1
Yeah.
as a whole, because it just feels like it's like I said, it's like ramping up. It's like
Yeah.
getting somewhere instead of just like staying in one place.
I know what you mean. I can see that.
Yeah. So what else do we have to say about Child's Play 2?
That's about
Yeah,
it.
that's
all
about
I
it.
got to
Yeah.
say.
It's
I
pretty,
mean,
yeah, I just wanted to talk about how awesome it was.
yeah. I mean that the third act you can't beat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It's Child's Play 3.
Not my favorite one.
No, I didn't like this one that
Yeah.
much. Except for the like military guy who likes to shave hair.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That guy, I was like had a whole thing in my head where like he tried to give like Chucky a haircut, and then it like because the movie I wasn't really enjoying it, so I was picturing Chucky with other haircuts, like a Jerry curl, like an afro, a fade, dreadlocks. I was just really like that was what I was doing.
Like Chucky, do something with your hair, dog.
Yeah, like dude, like. Go style it. Just because you have a voodoo curse doesn't mean you have a voodoo curse on your hair, dude.
Yeah, just
He's
do something.
got a lot of hair.
You got
It's
a lot of
always
hair.
a mess.
It's like, come on. Just because you're a serial killer doesn't mean you don't have to look like that. You can look fresh to death while you're stabbing people to death.
Oh, see, that's another thing I wanted to mention too. Talking about the serial killer, Charles Lee Ray.
That's a great serial killer name.
Yeah, really, it's got to have 3 names.
You have to have 3 names.
Got to have 3. But like, yeah, we get some background on him in the later movies, but they never really like. It's not like with Freddy or Jason where we get like any real backstory
Not
at
really,
all.
no.
I mean, literally, it's just like, oh, he's a bad dude that was like into voodoo and murdered people.
I appreciate how kind of bare bones it is. It's like I could see a version where they're like he was abused as a child. He had this horrible life. There was like in one of the later Nightmare on Elm Streets, they tried to do that for Freddy, and it was just
I think that was the remake.
Yeah.
Dear Lord, don't get me started.
But with this, it's just very simple. It's like he's a bad dude. He's into voodoo. He likes to kill people. Oh, okay, he's dead now. He's a doll. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
And now he's going to kill more people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Child's Play 3.
It's
Is
fucking boring.
I thought it was too.
It was like this was the one I was dreading talking about because I was like, there's nothing really. It was made like I looked stuff up. I looked up trivia to try and find something.
And
to
there's
say
no
about this
trivia.
movie. The only thing is that they rushed it after Child's Play 2, like 9 months after.
Yeah, it came out in 91, and I was shocked by that because I wasn't when I realized it was bad, but
they must have already been like developing this thing in the background.
yeah.
They're like, oh, 2 is going to do really good. We better get started on that. Nothing script for 3 right away. oh, and let's time jump.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about
Yeah.
it. They jump like 6 years into the future.
Yeah,
All of a
'cause
sudden,
Andy's-
Andy's a teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Justin Whalen does not
He
do a
sucks.
good job.
He
No.
sucks.
He's got no personality as Andy
No
at all.
charisma.
Nothing. and then the movie kind of seems more like it's a military academy drama
It was like
more
Taps.
than anything.
Well, that's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say. I mean, this thing came out like there was like toy soldiers, Taps.
Yeah.
There were a bunch of those military school dramas
Mm-hmm.
out at that time. And as soon as I turned this thing on, I'm like, oh, you got to be fucking kidding me.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
really? We're military school.
Yeah.
So Andy got sent here
Yeah.
after he got sent to the other place. How about we just don't have Andy?
I know, right?
You
It was-
know?
And then it was stupid that it was like there's one girl in the whole academy, and he starts like crushing on her, and it's like, oh my god, it's just kind of cheesy.
Yeah. It's not. Yeah. This was the roughest of the ones.
Yeah, it was hard to get through for me.
Yeah.
Well, because even with my non-love for Seed of Chucky, it's still
It's still
Enjoy-
it's still
like,
like there's still
it's
things
funny.
Yeah.
happening
Yeah.
in it. Where this I was just like fast forwarding and like sitting there just going, oh yeah.
I mean, every moment Chucky was in and his kills I enjoyed, so there was that.
I think some things you can change the environment and it's okay.
Yeah.
But Chucky did not, like, it doesn't really work in that setting.
It
You
just
know, like-
doesn't like it. It's a weird environment, and then they don't do a lot with it. Like you could set it
Right.
at a boarding school, and it would be the exact same movie.
Like,
Yeah.
I think if you're going to try to do something like this the smart way, like, oh, Chucky's going to be a boarding school or a military school, sorry, then do something with it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
make use of it's a military school. There's guns there. There's probably a tank somewhere.
That would be awesome.
There's like there's cool stuff that they could have done, but I think they cheaped out
Yeah.
and they're just
Yeah.
like, oh, it's just Andy at a different
It's
school
Yeah.
Andy again.
with a different kid that
Yeah.
Chucky kind of attaches himself to.
Yeah.
Which also seemed kind of weird because the whole time I'm like, why is there just like one little kid here?
That's so weird. It's like all these like teenagers and then a kid at a military school.
Yeah.
Are they like sending that kid to be a child soldier? What's happening?
They're putting him in the field. They're like,
Son, we know you're 8 years old and you should be coloring, but
we're
you're
gonna
going to
use you.
Afghanistan.
We're using you.
You're going to the front line.
He's just there for target practice.
Oh, that's probably true though.
That's probably what they were thinking.
Yeah.
Poor kid. Son, we're changing your name. It's private target practice.
Private 45
Oh,
test object, test private subject.
yup. So, yeah, Child's Play 3. I mean, it doesn't move the mythology at all. It's like a tag end. It's just like, here you go.
Yeah, and then it ends really weird too, where it's like they just put Andy in the cop car and drive away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
And that's like the last we see of him.
But
for a long time anyway.
time.
Yeah.
and if you notice with all these movies, they're like hot to get in and hot to get out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with like 3, like I think it's only like an hour and 23 minutes.
Yeah, it felt longer.
That's how I burned through all of these
Yeah.
so quick. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I just sat through 3 Child's Play movies in one sitting.
They're all like
Yeah.
under 90 minutes.
Because it's like watching it's like a episode of Game of Thrones, basically
Yeah.
a little bit longer, but you
Yeah.
know, yeah, Child's Play 3 was underwhelming. Mm-hmm. So are we done with this one?
Fuck yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Putting Andy in the cop car. That's,
Yeah, get out of here, Andy.
We're putting Andy in the car.
We're slamming the doors. You're out of
You
here.
get in the field, private target practice, Andy.
Private,
you get in the car.
private. My name is Private Tester Subject.
Put him in the cop car and aim for him.
You can even feel like the crew on that one was probably just like, fuck.
Can we just get
Yeah,
through this?
yeah.
Yeah, because I fuck it. Yeah, it's a
getting
military
paid.
academy.
Yeah.
Where's Timothy Dalton when you need him?
I was
See
a
Thomas Howell.
cinematographer on Taps. This is bullshit.
They're fucking my legacy up. All right. So the next one does take the series in a whole different direction.
Yeah.
This was Bride of Chucky, correct? Was the next one?
Yeah,
Chucky's
and this
the
is
next
like this 1998 was the year on this, so the series had a little bit of time to mellow,
Which I think was good.
yeah. And I put this on right after 3 ended, and it was such a breath of fresh air to me.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
just to see, like, you know, Jennifer Tilly right away. I was like, okay, now we're watching something different, you know. She does a great job. She steals the show in that. And both the next two, in my opinion.
See, the thing is about her, she's not a great actress, but there's a giant but here. She carries the shit out of these movies.
She does what she
And
does.
She does what she does, you know. Like, you're not going to put her in some, like, Oscar thing.
Yeah.
But you put her in a role like this, camp,
Yeah, it's
she carries it.
Yeah, she gets it, and she does it, and she
Yeah.
just does a really, really good job with it. She has fun.
So what's so different about this one?
I think it's the perspective. When you kind of start, you know, you go from Child's Play 3, which is mostly kind of like a straight up slasher movie. You go into this, and there's like a bit of a satirical element. You know, it's the Bride of Chucky. You kind of associate that with Bride of Frankenstein or something like that. And it has this kind of like, yes, it's still a horror movie. There's gruesome, death in it. But it also there's this kind of like winking sense of humor.
Yeah.
Which I think is different from the earlier movies. Maybe in the first one there's a little bit of humor, but
There's
it's
a little bit of wink and nod.
Yeah.
in there.
yeah, but it's not like outright like comedic, I would say.
Yeah.
And you know, perspective, you pointed that out, and that is kind of what makes it different, is because now we're kind of from the doll's perspective too, because there isn't an Andy character really. I mean, there's the kids that are what's her name there, Katherine Heigl and her boyfriend, but they're not really like the main stars of the movie. You're
They just
rooting
kinda-
for
You're there
what's
for
her name
Chucky
there?
and Tiffany.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that makes it very different, I think, mood-wise.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And it's weird seeing Katherine Heigl, like a young
Yeah.
Katherine Heigl.
I know.
I was like so thrown by that. I'm like, she's really beautiful in this. And like,
Yeah.
oh, it's Katherine Heigl. And like, she doesn't do anything anymore because
Yeah.
she like turned into like a horror, like a
Horror
Hollywood
show.
horror show.
Like a nightmare.
Like bad person.
That's
on
what I've
set.
heard, yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Bride of Chucky really like it amps up the comedy. The camp really starts to come in this one. But the interplay between those two characters is great.
Yeah.
It's really great.
They got a lot of chemistry together. They do a good job. It's fun.
Yeah. I mean, like that chemistry, I never would have thought that I'd be rooting for two dolls to get together, but it works, and it's genuinely well voice acted and well performed and well puppeted, and it's just so much fun.
Yeah, and
I
the
was enjoying
animation
myself
and
the
movement
whole
is
time.
dead nuts in this one too.
Yeah.
To do all of that with puppets, like it just astounds me.
I know. It's good. It looks good. I mean, at this point in watching the movies, it's kind of like I forgot that they're puppets. Like I just took for granted that like that's like I forget what like Brad Dourif is actually a man. Like he's not Chucky. You know, when I hear his voice. Same thing with Jennifer Tilly. It's like weird when you see her as herself, and then in the doll, it's like I buy it. I completely buy it. And I
agree.
It's like funny.
I'm trying to think. Yeah. So this one, definitely the comedy was a little bit more there. And then this one started to bring some of the sex stuff into it too. Like how I was talking about Seed of Chucky, like I'm like kind of shocked they got away with some of this.
Yeah.
Like
in a wide release movie too.
Like the bondage stuff with her boyfriend, like pseudo Marilyn Manson. That's like her boyfriend.
Oh, and with Alexis Arquette, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that is who that was.
Yeah.
Haha, that's funny. Yeah. So like a little more goth edge to this one too. So yeah.
Well, that was the 90s. I think in the late 90s, like that was kind of like cool.
Yeah,
I guess.
this is the one where you can kind of tell, like, with the original Chucky's, they're in, like, the 80s slasher, like, boom.
Right.
And then you go into this, and it's kind of like Scream, where there's a lot of, like, meta-comedy, there's a lot of, like, winking at the audience, and, like, it's self-referential, and that kind of plays into this movie.
Oh,
sure.
the Rob Zombie song, too, they kept playing, too.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
The Living Dead Girl. It's
Yup.
like the theme to that, yeah.
So, now I guess we're just going to move right on to Seed of Chucky.
Because that one kind of starts not right when this one ends, but they imply that Chucky's gone and Tiffany's pregnant and the baby was like, no, Tiffany was supposed to be dead too.
Yeah.
And
but the baby, like, comes out
Yeah.
right before she dies.
Yeah.
But they don't show the baby.
Yeah.
This one's a trip.
Yeah. It's so weird. It's wild.
Well, because this reminded me of New Nightmare. It reminds me of New Nightmare a lot.
Okay, yeah.
Because in this movie,
They're making a movie.
they're making a movie, and everything's much more meta in this film, and they exist in the real world versus being in a movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it got a little confusing for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, wait a second. They didn't really explain it very much. And then next thing you know, like, oh, we're in the real world.
Yeah.
And Glenn, or Glenda, mails himself to the U.S.
Yeah.
because he's in Great Britain at the beginning, and he ships himself to the U.S., which was kind of funny.
That was funny.
Because he just so happens to come out of the box in the same room as
Yeah.
the parents. Yeah. All right, Mara. So what is it that you love so much about this movie?
Just how over the top it is and wild. I mean, it's pretty Bride of Frankenstein. No, Bride of Chucky's pretty campy to begin with and funny and goofy, and everything that's in that movie, just take that like times 100, and that's what you got with Seed of Chucky. I enjoy the Glenn or Glenda reference, the Ed Wood reference.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I think he's so creepy, the guy who does his voice, a little creepy southern, or he's British.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The puppet itself is really...
The teeth.
Really grotesque design. Yeah. And then John Waters has a cameo, so I can't...
And they screw his face up bad.
They sure do.
Yeah.
And those visuals were...
Yeah.
That gore effect that they did, that was, like, phenomenal.
He got a really, like, gory, long kill.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure, I mean... John Waters, I remember when that movie came out, he was really excited that he was in it, and so I'm pretty sure, like, he was like, give me the goriest kill, please.
Yeah.
I want to be a victim.
Well, yeah, because you think if you're somebody like him that's made tons of films, and they're usually
On the,
pretty
like,
humorous.
campy.
Yeah, campy, like, oh, this kind of reminds me of my stuff, but it's horror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now kill me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because that's what I want. Give me the craziest death ever.
Yeah.
So when me and you were discussing this, like, back and forth on Facebook, and I said I was kind of shocked in that I don't think they would get away with some of this today. My meaning behind that wasn't necessarily like that I thought it was bad in that way, but I think some of the stuff about like confusion about the sexuality,
Yeah.
I think like audiences now might get a little miffed at that. Like, is he a girl or is he a boy? And like, you can't tell, you know, because he doesn't have the right parts.
Yeah.
And blah, 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 blah. And you're pissing yourself. You're pissing yourself. I think some of that stuff, like, I wasn't offended by it. But I think if it was released in theaters now, with how much more advanced culture is and more accepting of things like sexuality and stuff, I think it might not fly. That's kind of...
I mean, you might be right. But it's interesting because I read an article by a gay man who really liked that movie and saw it as, you know, I think a teenager at the time, and took it like to heart because he kind of knew it wasn't serious and it was goofy, but he never really saw that type of thought process of feeling like, well, am I a boy, am I a girl, what am I, ever really, explained in a movie. And and in a horror movie, because he specifically says, like, I'm a huge horror fan. So to see that in this genre that everyone thinks is this, like, straight man genre was huge to him. But you're right, though. Today, I think since 1998, there's been more things. Mm-hmm. So to watch it from our eyes and being in 2019.
Yeah.
That's
kind of what I was saying. Like, I'm just.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fine with this. Like, I know Chucky's just joking.
Yeah.
But I can see, like, if this was in a theater and, like, somebody that's transsexual or, you know what I'm saying? That could be offensive to them.
Yeah. Of course.
And I don't see that would get put out there. They may have edited that now.
And I mean, I don't know this for certain, but I kind of feel pretty strongly that Don Mancini probably had his heart in the right place. And
he's definitely watching it again. I think he's pretty accepting, and this is, like, for 2004, a pretty open-minded, open-hearted movie.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he's gay himself, so I can see he's, probably taking, his own feelings or, people who've been close to him over his life and speaking from experience, I mean, to bring up Ed Wood and Glenn or Glenda, it's like same thing with that movie. It's like you watch that movie and you're like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
whoa.
Right.
Yeah.
But for 1950 whatever, Ed Wood's pouring his heart out here, and he's coming from a place of love and acceptance. So it goes just
and that's probably what it was too.
Yeah.
In this, I'm just watching it going like, I'm fine with it. Mm-hmm. But some people might,
of course,
not be or just be made uncomfortable by it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of discomfort around explorations of gender anyway.
Yeah.
Of course.
So, it takes guts to do that in a wide release film, but I also think that it's a film from 2004, so it like film doesn't like age well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there is elements. It's imperfect, but it's still representation. There's someone out there who probably struggled with their gender identity and saw that and said, "Hey, I'm in a horror comedy. Yeah, it's not perfect.
He's talking to me,
and it speaks to me. It's people connect with movies that way all the time."
Yeah, and if you're the type of person who is already going to sit down and watch a horror movie, I mean, it is a very, like, straight man-dominated thing. You assume that the horror fans are straight men, and there are, all different types, so. And then the one thing that I think is kind of awesome about the movie is towards the end, Chucky's like, you know what? I don't care about going into a person. I'm Chucky the killer doll, and I accept myself, and I love it.
I love.
Yeah.
So it's like it has that message. So it's like.
Yeah, I thought that was.
I loved that.
Like, complimentary to that story, and I was like, if I could see people being offended by maybe not the correct terms, but you see something like that where he goes, "I am a killer doll." Mm-hmm. That's great. That's, you could put it in with whatever you are, whatever you identify as.
Mm-hmm. One thing I wasn't thinking about is that, Chucky's trying to mold him one way is a male killer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Tiffany gets her dressed up in female clothes and is like, no, it's a girl. Mm-hmm. And, it's just weird. It's just that, like, fine line, like, I get it. I understand it. But, there is that message of acceptance, I guess.
Yeah, if you took, like, the horror movie elements out of it, it would just be, like, a regular family drama about a family trying to find out what their child and who they are.
And their child pees
and their
all
child
the time.
And their child pees all the time.
It's so weird, dude.
It's
I'm
so
like,
weird.
why is this happening again? This thing just peed. He just peed. She just peed. Sorry, I didn't mean to be offensive by saying thing. I'm saying
he's talking about the doll.
A doll. Yeah.
He respects everyone's pronouns.
Yes.
It's a doll. We don't want to assume.
Yes. So, I don't want to offend anybody.
We're good.
We're good. But yeah, so it is weird, and it's kind of like soap opera-ish too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very campy. It's definitely like It's got a lot. There's a lot going on in that. A lot.
So the only thing I wonder about it is, like, I'm watching this movie and I'm like, okay, it's part of the series. How the fuck did he get this script passed? Because, most studio heads would be like, well, the first one, and in the second one, and the third one, and now, in the fifth one, there's a transsexual child born of
two
dolls.
How does it even work, too?
I mean, I'm just saying, it's just weird. Like, how did, like, oh, here's my script.
I would love to be a fly on the wall at, like, the table read or the pitch meeting for this. They're like, so, you're doing another Chucky movie. All right, this time. We got, is it Redman? Redman's in this movie?
Yes.
Yeah, we got Redman. We got John Waters. We got a doll with gender identity issues. And a weird Britney Spears joke.
Oh, yeah, that's so dated.
That, I was like, oh.
I know.
You just killed Britney. Damn it. I like Britney. Yeah. It's just weird.
They must have just been like another Chucky movie, whatever.
Yeah. They're just like, what? Yeah, fuck it.
How much is it? Oh, $10 million? Okay, we'll make 20. We're good.
Yeah, we're good.
And then you know what? That's the last one that had a theatrical release. So that...
Yeah. They were probably like, I don't think so.
Like, I got another idea. And they're like, straight to tape for that one.
Straight to tape.
Yeah, our release date schedule, it's not going to hit a theater. We got a full slate. Don't worry about it.
But again, it's not, I got through it. It's not like I hated it.
Mm-hmm.
I was just more, I'm like that studio head that just read the script and was like, what? What? Wait, what? What are you talking about? No. You're kidding me, right? No, dude, we're making this.
It feels like a bit, like a prank.
Yeah, it does.
Like sometimes people send in fake scripts for things.
Right.
And
I'm happy it wasn't.
I
had a ball watching that. Like every time I've seen that movie, I think 3 times. I just love watching it.
Well, see, when John Waters showed up, that was after I had posted that on Facebook, and I'm like, aha.
Then
this fits in Mara's wheelhouse of the stuff she adores.
Yeah.
So I get that, and I respect that too. Like, I never want to be that guy. Like, you like it and I don't, so you suck.
Yeah.
I respect everybody's opinions because I take joy in the fact that, hey, you liked it more than I did.
Yeah.
Well, if this is the way I see it. Like, if I hate something a lot and like I watch it and it like pisses me off, but like it makes someone else happy, I'm like, well, good. Then good. It should exist then.
Yeah.
It has a place in the world.
It's for somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my perspective. I would just get so frustrated about things and just get bent out of shape about things, and I was like, it's
what does it matter?
It's a movie.
Yeah.
Like, if you spend time like just ranting and raving about something, like, move the fuck on. There's like unlimited things you can watch. Why get pissed about something?
This is why I quit most of the movie groups on Facebook. This is why I don't engage with movie fans on Facebook anymore, because it is, like Michelle and Chris Jordan and all of us have discussed in the past numerous times at length, it's always this extreme high or this extreme low. I hate it or I love it.
This movie had sex with my wife. I hate it.
Yeah.
It's that level. Like, people act as if like this movie cuckolded them.
I was about to say the same thing.
And it's like, it's
they
fun.
do.
That happens all the time on Michelle's page. But I do have to admit, it is like, it's probably annoying if you're her, but to watch it sometimes, people have amazing meltdowns.
I know.
And for me, as just like a person who enjoys watching that happen, it's great.
I admit I'd done that too. I've seen Michelle post in comments and just clicked on that and just scrolled through.
126 comment thread of just people just going nuts.
And I'm like, is this guy serious? I'm like,
it's so funny.
I just had to let it go.
She finds the like comedy character.
Oh,
she
yeah,
does.
yeah.
She really does.
some of those people just don't know how to interact. Like,
yeah, I think that's just they don't have like and maybe it's just social media and Facebook in general, but there's not a lot of like nuances to conversations.
yeah. People go to whatever extreme instead of just like conversing. You know, like, oh, I hated The Last Jedi. I didn't. You did. Okay, you hated The Last Jedi. Well, tell me why you hated it. Well, it was terrible. Okay. The fact that the only thing you can say is it's terrible means that you really have no opinion. You have nothing you're basing it on. You're just saying that because you want to say that, and you're joining that hive mind thing.
Or more likely, they saw some guy on YouTube with a shitty webcam talking about how it, like, it killed my manhood. The Last Jedi. What's up, geeks and gamers? What's going on? The Last Jedi. Ryan Johnson, came into my house and he execution styled my whole family. And then he made me watch The Last Jedi. He killed my real family, and he killed my Star Wars family. He ruined my life. His name should be Ruin Johnson.
Yeah, oh,
he ruined it. I ruined it. He ruined my fantasy about space wizards.
And the thing that gets me about stuff like that is like, there are so many Star Wars movies. Let them make one you don't like. Go and watch the one you like.
There's
but
8 movies.
And this speaks to Seed of Chucky. Realistically, if you think about it, The Last Jedi, I don't want to get into a big Star Wars thing, but The Last Jedi, like, it turned Star Wars on its head. He did things that nobody else would have done. Why not try that?
So you're saying it's the Seed of Chucky?
Well, I'm saying in a way it is, because Seed of Chucky was like, okay, we're just changing the mainstay now, and we're going to go balls to the wall, crazy soap opera.
I think that would be great. I think The Last Jedi needed John Waters, and it needed Luke to explore his gender identity.
Yeah.
I'd love that.
That would be a good movie.
I would actually watch that.
I would be there 10 times.
I can see John Waters being like a Jedi, though.
Yeah. I could
totally
see John Waters is like the alien titty monster thing.
Yeah. And he just pops on. He's like, "Hi, I'm John Waters."
I just had the image of. I know that like in The Last Jedi he uses like the glass
blue milk,
to milk it. I thought it would have been so much funnier if Luke just straight up like with his mouth just went up there and did that.
I just thought it'd be funny if he would have jerked it off on his face. Seriously, every time I watch it, I'm like, dude, it's like milk bukkake.
It's so close.
By the
I was
seashore.
about to say bukkake.
What's that?
I was about to just do
It's okay.
It's a bukkake movie.
Okay. Now on to less adult
Curse of
themed-
Chucky.
Curse of Chucky. Speaking of bukkake, what a great transition.
Okay. So now after this one, we had a big time jump.
Yeah.
Because the next one didn't come out till 2013.
Yeah.
I think that's the year.
Which was Curse of Chucky.
2013.
This is a really cool flick.
It was interesting because these movies shift tone. So you have the first 3, then you have 4 and 5, and they're like totally different from the first 3. And then you have this, and it's kind of returning back to the roots. Mm-hmm. And I really appreciated that element of it. It was like, let's make Chucky scary again. And yeah, he still has the one-liners because those aren't going to go away.
No.
Because that's like part of the movie, but it was definitely more tampered down.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm fine.
There's like these two, like I was saying before the show, there's a much more gothic feel to these. I think they're much darker. The Nika is the main character in the wheelchair. It's just kind of a cool change. Instead of a little boy running around or the dolls just running around, you've got a female lead this time, which they hadn't really done yet.
No.
But yeah, her being in the wheelchair, kind of stuck in the house thing. Just there's much more like Hitchcock feel. Yeah,
it's a lot of those movies. You have those kind of Hitchcock style shots. It plays with the framing. It plays with the color. It's a lot of like really whites And so that when Chucky appears, the color kind of bursts on the scene the same way he does. And I thought that was a really novel way to get him into the movie.
The way that movie looks is very unique, and it's like really beautiful, and the set is really cool. What I didn't like about it is I thought it was a little slow. And
it does take a while to get into.
It's a lot of the family drama with, her sister and her husband, and then who's having an affair with the nanny, and then she's kind of like gaslighting Nika the whole time too, like making her kind of seem like she's more helpless than she is, and that kind of like it lost it. I don't know. I enjoyed it, but at the same time I was like looking for Chucky too much, so it was a little slow to me. And then they kind of in the very last, I guess, like 20 minutes, just flood in like, this is why Chucky's here, and now you're getting all these flashbacks, and you find out that she's connected to him, in that way, and I was kind of like waiting for that for the whole movie. Like, why is he here? How are they connected?
Right. And then they give us a little bit of the background story, which that carries through into the next one too, correct? Yeah, because she's locked up in the next one.
Yeah. But I mean, I loved I loved it though. The last half hour of the movie is really good, and the beginning isn't bad. It just was so slow, and it
takes a little bit of time.
And coming off of Seed of Chucky, it was like really the movie's so low key compared to Seed of Chucky. So low key.
It doesn't move the same way.
So if you're looking for something like Seed of Chucky, you won't curse.
This definitely had like a more like indie horror feel to it.
Yeah.
For sure. And this one was like straight to streaming and Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I remember when this came out.
Yeah, I remember that.
I do too.
I was like, whoa, there's a new Chucky movie out. Like, there was nothing about this, really.
It seemed like it just was out.
Yeah. I don't really have much to say about it other than, like, I liked it. I think it's okay.
Yeah.
It's the kind of movie where, if you like Chucky and you like slasher movies, you'll probably enjoy it.
Right.
I don't have a lot to say about it. I really enjoyed it.
So, the next one, Cult of Chucky.
I loved that one.
It's really cool.
That and Seed are probably tied for the two best, in my opinion.
Yeah, because they're in the hospital in this one, and we end up with multiple Chuckies.
Yeah.
I was kind of stoned watching this, so I don't really completely remember it already. But
I just love the concept of multiple Chuckies. I think that's something that like they should have done a long time ago, because like just an army of dolls have always terrified me. I think it's because I saw Small Soldiers when I was way too young to see
that movie is awesome, dude.
It's awesome, but like I was fucking terrified of it as a kid. Like I was so scared. My dad rented it. I forced the tape out of the machine and would hide the tape. Even seeing it at the video store, I would cower in terror.
Aww.
Yeah.
Of Small Soldiers.
Small Soldiers, when he punches out of the box, that's scary.
You know what? So just a little sidebar here. When the first Child's Play movie came out, my best friend at the time in elementary school sat down at recess and told me to my face, honest to God, that it was based on a true story and that she saw it on the news. And I believed her.
Because as kids, we believe anything.
Yeah, and and I wasn't really a gullible kid. I didn't really believe anything like that, so it was like really weird that I did, apparently. But she was like, no. She spent the entire recess convincing me of it, and she was my best friend. Oh my God, I did not sleep for months.
So she really wasn't your best friend.
She was gaslighting.
Yeah,
or she worked at MGM.
Or she was a Trump supporter.
Oh, no.
She could be. I don't know. I won't talk to her anymore. Yeah, our friendship did not last long after that, obviously. But no, I was terrible. And it was years and years and years before I could sit down and watch Child's Play.
Wow.
And then I did, and I was like, that's not scary. And it's like, it's so weird. It doesn't have like an effect on me at all. When I remember like being like, I can't go to bed, and my parents
those childhood
like
terrors are so much more like paralyzing.
Yeah.
Now I see a movie, I'm like, that was scary. I don't go like have months long terrors.
I was never scared of stuff, so it was like, it's so weird when I think back. Like, wow, I watched weird stuff. My mom didn't want to show me stuff, but then like my dad would be like, oh, it's okay, and I'd see it and I'd be like, I'm fine. And Chucky didn't scare me until that girl convinced me. She convinced me.
I was so terrified of Chucky that I would my parents were watching Bride when I was younger, and I would like hide in the room and go read Wikipedia and find out what was happening in the movie and then peek back in. and then hide and like read about it.
Yeah, I think the only one that really scared me was Poltergeist. That was the one.
That's still scary now.
It is.
Yeah, it's a creepy movie.
Like the part when in the bathroom when he's like peeling off the skin. That's fucking terrifying.
Scared me when I was a kid.
Yeah, just the clown, the evil clown in the bedroom, the closet though. Yeah. Like when I was a kid, like I'm like, oh, can't sleep with the closet door open. Got to close it every single time. And I'd get up and push it, close it, and run back to bed.
I just picture young you being like, we're not under like an Indian burial ground or anything, right?
Yeah, so no, Cult of Chucky was pretty cool, and they do talk about it in the movie, like, oh, you really thought there was only one?
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, I did like the multiple Chucky aspect was pretty cool. It adds
to the lore, which is really, really cool. That's like an interesting place to take it.
No, we didn't mention this, but I love at the end of Curse, you don't expect it at all, and Andy's there.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the guy, and he like looks exactly the same.
Yep.
Just like a man.
That's so good that
I
they
know.
got him.
And then he comes back in Cult, and it's like, he's like kind of like badass,
Yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah, he's got the cabin.
Yeah.
With all the cool...
He's like ready, man.
He's like, I always love in like horror sequels when they get the survivors from the first movie and they're like preppers. They're like, we gotta get this guy.
Yeah.
I love that. I loved that in
Halloween,
and I loved it in this movie.
Yeah,
too.
I really like it that they brought the character back, and it was the guy. That was so cool. It was very like satisfying.
Yeah,
very satisfying.
The Child's Play 3 guy was pissed.
Yeah. He was like, man.
He's like, dude, I got people to cover my shift at Denny's for this. What the fuck?
I was looking at what else that guy was in. He was in a bunch of other things in the 90s, too. He was in Serial Mom.
It's got to suck to be Andy, too.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
I love Serial Mom.
I do, too.
All right, so the remake. We've all seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Mara didn't like it very much. No. I didn't love it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I initially said, like, oh, I think it's better than the originals. But again, that's like kind of disrespecting the originals. Like, it all comes from there. Mm-hmm. So I really shouldn't say that. I liked and respected the update, and I liked the fact that they didn't fall back on the same story. Like, it wasn't a murderer again. Like, I like the fact that they just said, okay, we can't beat it. Mm-hmm. So we're going to do something new with it. Mm-hmm. And I think the, rogue AI thing, it fits with things that are going on now. I mean, a lot of people didn't like the doll design.
Yeah,
I didn't like
it. What I will say is that the worst thing about the new Child's Play is that it's called Child's Play. It could be totally a separate thing. It wouldn't change the movie at all.
Yeah.
I also appreciated that it wasn't the same thing, that it wasn't like, because so many of these remakes and reboots are just like pushing you in the gut, going like, oh, you remember that?
Yeah, we're doing it again.
You remember that thing that you liked? Mm-hmm. And I was like, thank God, because I don't know if I could have like sat through another movie and just go, like, stop reminding me of movies I liked. I'll just go watch those. I'll just do something different.
Right.
And I liked Mark Hamill's voice in it, and I liked how kind of mean it was. It was a little like kind of nasty like spirit going on in it.
Dude, the lawnmower scene. I mean, that was just like, holy shit. His face is gone,
That was
dog.
awesome. I love that. They should have released it at Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think with any of these movies, they should release them like Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, this would have done way better if they
Yeah.
released it in October.
Well,
Same thing with Annabelle Comes Home. Like
yeah,
they
released
effed that
it.
all up.
They released it after Toy Story. What are you gonna like?
Same day.
Same day.
Wow.
What are you gonna do? Like you're gonna
Yeah.
compete against like the arguably most popular animated franchise of all time. I don't know.
Samara, what didn't you like about it?
A lot. I mean, it's like funny because I didn't really hate it. Like I watched it and I was like, there were things I enjoyed about it. I really liked the scene where that creepy surveillance camera guy got his hands burned. But like the whole time, but I'm sitting here going, why did he get naked and stand on top of that table with the table saw?
Yeah.
That just
It was just set up to kill him that
yeah,
way.
it was really stupid.
So
And I also wish that they would have been more. This is going to be really weird, but I wish the kills were more explicit.
yeah.
Yeah.
When he fell, I wanted to see.
Ever bits.
Yeah, I wanted to see both sides of his body just come out. I just not the one leg fall on the
pieces
ground.
of dick flying in the air.
Yeah. Yes.
That would have been
It's
awesome.
my favorite.
Yeah, I want to see, what could have been like part of a testicles.
Part of a testicles is
So-
a great name for a band.
Part of the testicles. The entire movie, I'm watching it going like, is that Jack Black? Like he really looks like
I
Jack
thought
Black.
that was Jack Black
And
at
if
first.
you listen really close in that scene, there is a voice that goes, Jack Black. I swear to God. They audio
looks
dubbed a little
Yeah.
thing in there, and
Yeah.
it's in there.
Yeah, he looks like sex pervert Jack Black.
Yeah, he
does.
does.
He does.
This is the Jack Black who like has to introduce yourself to the whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
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 Right away when
Via
they
an
showed
app.
that guy. Right away when they showed that guy, I was like, he's going to be a creep.
Yeah.
Do you have
I-
the Sex Predator app on your phone?
do I?
No.
Not recently. No.
Not recently.
I,
Because he would be on that.
you used it for cruising.
Yeah. Oh. Oh. Terrible. But yeah.
Happy 4th of July.
Just shaking my head.
I'm cruising
you
for
can't see.
pedophiles.
Just shaking my head.
That's all you can do sometimes.
Yeah, that's what you do.
But no, I mean, people are really split down the middle on this one. There's some people that like love it, some people that hate it. It got like Rotten Tomatoes. I was actually shocked. It was at like
Yeah.
60%.
That caught me off guard because they didn't screen it at all.
No,
I heard they screened it in like New York and LA, I think. But still, from the way they were acting about it, I thought it was going to be like a total fucking disaster. And then I saw it and I was like, well, it's actually, it's okay.
it's watchable.
Yeah. I liked Mark Hamill's voice. And he said, this is for Tupac.
I did not like Mark Hamill's voice.
No,
No, I thought he sounded a little like, it sounded like Luke Skywalker doing a Kermit the Frog impression. And I was like, I'm not in this. Like, it was too,
Right.
I don't know.
well, I think too, like you're aware of it.
Yeah.
Also, you're like, oh, that's Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
like when Brad Dourif did the originals, like we didn't know who he even was.
Yeah, now if I
Yeah.
see Brad Dourif or something and I hear his voice, I'm like, Chucky.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know? Yeah,
So
that's,
this
he
is-
didn't change his. I don't know. I didn't know what to expect from Mark Hamill. Maybe I guess I expected something more different than just something that sounded like Mark Hamill to me.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think, it's a fine movie. I was shocked, though. I went on today's Tuesday. I went Sunday night to see this at AMC on Gratiot. I went to the 10:15 show, and it was sold out.
Really?
I was in utter shock. There wasn't a seat left in the place. It was completely sold out. And I think that maybe it's going to see like some life at the box office that wasn't opening weekend. I think people were busy doing other stuff, seeing other things,
Seeing
Toy Story.
Yeah.
And now they're like, oh, well, I heard this isn't like
Terrible.
the worst thing ever, so it's a horror movie. I'll go check it out.
Yeah.
I will say I appreciated what you guys are saying, how it was different, because if it was the same, I wouldn't have went and saw it. And and then when I did, I would have been bored. But I tell you what, I was not bored watching that movie.
Well, that's good then.
Yeah.
So that means there's some
Yeah.
saving grace
There
there.
is. I was entertained. I laughed a couple times. Maybe at parts that were inappropriate, but
Nah, that's you.
I was laughing. I was laughing a lot. I had a great time watching it.
yeah.
Yeah, it was fine. Again, it's not the greatest thing ever. It actually reminded me of Upgrade a little bit.
Yeah, I was
the
thinking
way that
about
it was filmed and
it was kind of
the self-driving car thing and all that.
That was
some
scary.
of it. That movie is awesome.
Oh, I didn't see that, but the self-driving car idea terrifies me. I looked over at Mike when it started, going crazy, and I said, "This is why I'll never get in a self-driving car."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because some
never
people are gonna be
happen.
hacking those things all the time.
Oh yeah, I will crash myself. Thank you.
Yeah,
I don't need a.
I will destroy myself.
Yeah.
Not Google.
I don't
car.
need no Google car.
Yeah,
to
no,
kill
thank
me.
you.
I'll kill myself.
I'll throw myself through my own windshield. I don't need it.
I felt bad for her though, 'cause she was like
I
a
did
sweet
too.
lady.
It's like they built up those other assholes, and you wanted to see him get killed.
Yeah.
But then her, you're like, why? She's the sweet mom.
Yep.
You know. So that was a bummer.
I liked the cop though too.
I liked him too.
Brian Tyree Henry.
Yeah, I actually liked him because I thought there was like really strong moral character to that guy, and he was really trying to
I liked him.
steer things on the right path.
I wish there was more with him.
I did too.
I really like. I think we talked about in Spider-Verse. He was the dad in Spider-Verse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he's really like one of those actors who's coming out that I think is really, really something special.
Cool.
Yeah.
I had a lot of weird. Just one more thing about the movie. I had a lot of weird, nitpicky plot hole questions that I won't get into, but that was something else I didn't like about it either.
What's that?
Well, the one thing that I was confused about was how, a lot of it was how did Chucky get here and there? Like when he killed that boyfriend, I'm like, okay, I'm assuming he jumped in the car with him, but then how did he get back?
And that fast.
Yeah. And if the lawnmower thing cut that guy's face off, how did he get it off so perfectly?
Yeah.
Suspension of disbelief.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
That's why I said nitpicking. I'm nitpicking plot hole things. I was just, I don't know.
That's totally fine.
Yeah.
Though. I do it all the time.
That happens.
I can
to
suspend
me.
my disbelief when you tell me voodoo's involved. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, voodoo, whatever.
Yeah. He used voodoo to get back to the apartment.
It's a mixture of technology.
But with the technology thing, I'm like, wait a second. Okay, well, you're telling me technology. You got to explain the science now.
Right.
So it was a little hard for me.
I'll watch it again.
Yeah, I did. There's an aspect of the movie that I also really liked. I loved that Chucky is the product of a disgruntled factory worker.
Yeah.
I think that's great. I wish the movie was a little more satirical. Because, when that happened, I was like, oh, this is going to be kind of like a little, funnier, a little dark. Not that it should just be like a laugh riot, but there's a lot of stuff you can do with, AI homes and things like that. And I wonder if it was, budget limitations or whatever. I don't know.
I mean, because they could have said it a little bit more in the future, and they could have taken advantage of the tech a little bit more.
That'd be cool.
That would have been fun. Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I didn't love it as much as I kind of liked some of the other ones in the original series, but it wasn't bad.
It wasn't Child's Play 3.
You're right. You know what? You're right. I would probably watch that remake before I watched 3 again, because 3 I was bored.
I was never bored during the remake. Even when I was laughing at things that were unintentionally funny, I was still feeling something.
Right.
I didn't drift into my seat and just
right.
I didn't either. I didn't I didn't sometimes when I'm at the movie theater and a movie goes on and on and on, I'm like, how much longer? When is it going to be? I didn't do that.
Yeah.
So that's usually how I can gauge.
I did that during yesterday.
You did?
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about that.
We'll talk about that in a minute. All right, folks. This was episode 118 of Real Crime. Hopefully, we'll be back next week.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Woohoo.
You can, I guess, follow me on Twitter if you like. It's at Liam Soconnor, and I have occasionally good things to say.
Occasionally.
Yeah.
Every once in a year.
Every like once in a year, I have like a really killer joke.
Every once in a decade.
Hey now.
Hey now.
Hey now.
All right. Thanks to whoever listened or watched or whatever.
Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July.
Happy.
Don't buy any dolls.
Yeah, don't buy any dolls. And buy me some fireworks.
No.
Ship me some fireworks, please.
No. All right. Bye, folks.
Bye.
Good night.
Visit us at www.themoviesleuth.com and find The Movie Sleuth on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and iTunes.